Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to my first ever YouTube video. Welcome to LVRN. This is my first video, and today we're going to be going over mistakes to avoid in your Dynasty startup draft. As you see in front of me here, I have my Dynasty startup draft from last summer. And it was my first ever Dynasty league. And yeah, after like one season of experience, I wanted to go over mistakes to avoid as we head into the off season of the fantasy football. So first off, at the 105, I went with Joe Burrow. This is Superflex. Superflex, full PPR, tight end premium, so tight ends get 1.5 PPR. Other than that, it's regular scoring. So this first pick, in my mind, had to be a quarterback. And I still stick with that to this day. Drafting quarterbacks early and often in Superflex is something you must do because your startup draft is the only time you're going to be able to get guys like Josh Allen, Justin Herbert, Patrick Mahomes, Joe Burrow, Jalen Hurts, even Deshaun Watson or Lamar Jackson, like players like this, Justin Fields. It's the only time you're going to be able to, Trevor Lawrence, the only time you're going to be able to draft these guys to your team. So you want to take quarterbacks early and often because you're starting 2 every week, so they're very valuable. One thing you must remember to do is draft more than 3 quarterbacks. As you can see here, I drafted 3, one of which I traded away. I will get into that later. So I was left with 2, but at the end of this draft, I was left with 2 active quarterbacks and Deshaun Watson, who wasn't active until week 12. So off the bat, I was already putting myself in a bad situation. So the number one mistake to avoid in Superflex is make sure you draft quarterbacks early and often. Take 1 or 2 in the first 6 rounds. Take 2 guys that are going to carry your team for the future, for the next 6 years or more. And then later, get guys in your mid to late rounds, get guys that can provide for your team this year and also maybe a couple of years down the line, like guys like Ryan Tannehill, Jared Goff, Marcus Mariota, Zach Wilson, Geno Smith, guys like that who are going to provide for your team now and also in the future. So that's the number one mistake to avoid. Number 2 is do not draft running backs early and often in your startup drafts. They have the shortest shelf life in all of Dynasty. You know, they're going to start declining at age 28. That's normally when they start declining, and some running backs will be productive past that age, but the age 28 season is normally the last year you want to keep them on your team before you capitalize on their value and sell. So as you can see here, running back. That's a great team for this year. This guy ended up winning the league. So it was good. It worked out for him this year, but his team is very old and centered around old running backs, so he needs to flip them for draft capital in the future. Number 2, I would say make sure that you are getting value, but not overdrafting young players. So make sure you're getting longevity, but not too much longevity. I made that mistake this year. As you can see, all the people I drafted, pretty much all of them were still on their rookie contract. The ones that were basically, I think they were all still on their rookie contract besides like some of the later rounds, like Tim Patrick, Robbie Anderson, Zay Jones, Jamal Williams, Naheem Hines, maybe Darnell Mooney, and obviously Deshaun Watson is not, but he just got off his rookie contract. So make sure you're drafting guys that are going to have value now and also in the future. my mistake was I drafted all young guys, and that ended up working out poorly for me. I made the playoffs. I just snuck into the playoffs, and I got eliminated in the first round. Ended up with the 108. So now I have a bunch of young players, which is good because they can develop, but I have no stars right now that can carry my team, especially since I drafted Javonte Williams in the second round, who then tore his ACL. So my running back situation this year was horrendous. This year in the draft, I'm going to be looking for running back in our rookie draft, potentially trade up to the 101 because I have additional picks this year and next year in the first from the Trey Lance trade, which I will tell you the details of later. And another mistake that I made was in season, I didn't make any trades. I didn't commit to either. You have to, at some point in the season, you need to commit to either I am going to sell old players and get draft picks, or I'm going to sell young players and get older players that are going to help me win this year or next year. And I never committed to either. I was always a middle of the road team. I just snuck into the playoffs as a fifth seed, lost first round, got a bad draft pick. It's fine because my team is young, but my team, it's going to heavily rely on the development of those rookies and young players that I drafted in order for my team to take the next step next year, or in the off season, I'm going to need to trade young players to get old talent, solidified talent in the NFL, like a Saquon Barkley or like Christian McCaffrey or one of those other running backs that are solidified but may be declining soon. And so I will bring you to my team now, and I will show you the picks I have, and I'll kind of go through how I got them. If this will load. So this is my team as it stands now. Joe Burrow, Jamal Williams, A.J. Dillon, Amari Cooper, Christian Watson, Drake London, Pat Freiermuth, Rashad White, T. Higgins, Deshaun Watson, Mike White, Jared Stidham, Donta Foreman, Joshua Kelly, Hassan Haskins, Jalen Warren, Zay Jones, Sky Moore, Noah Fant, Jawan Johnson, and then on my IR I have Javonte Williams, I forget his first name, Kyle Phillips, and then I have also Greg Dulwich on my IR. My taxi squad is Tolbert, Jalen Tolbert, Drake Bell, is it? I forget. I don't remember. Sorry. Excuse me for that. And Jerome Ford. So, of my taxi squad, I don't like Jalen Tolbert really at all. I overdrafted him, and he's probably on the bubble for my squad. I'm probably going to end up cutting him. Didn't play. He played in all, 2 games this year with a healthy scratch many times. Really just not a suitable fantasy player. So the trade was, I traded Trey Lance before the season, almost right after the draft, for first this year, this pick, the 112, and a first next year, this pick in 2024, and Amari Cooper and Matt Ryan. So I would say I made out pretty well with that trade. I got draft capital, and a lot, if not all, the people in my league are new to Dynasty, just like me. So I think in the beginning we kind of undervalued first round picks. I'll go over 2 other trades that I made. One was Darnell Mooney and Mark Ingram. I think I made this trade in the beginning. It was in the beginning of the season, maybe around week 3, when Kamara was out for that one game, I think, with an injury. So I traded Mark Ingram and Darnell Mooney for a first, and I think that was this first, the 2024 first here. And then My last trade was I traded in week 2. I traded James Robinson for a 2025 first, um, to the same guy that I traded the first that I traded Trey Lance to. So I would say I made out well in all those trades. I got lucky, I would say, like capitalizing on their upside and how they were playing at the moment. And I mean, I end up with a 112 this year. I would like to package these two picks together plus another asset to move up to the 101 because I want Bijan Robinson something fierce because I need that RB1 that I'm lacking as of right now. I think if I get that RB1, my roster could be in good shape to possibly contend for a title next year. Another thing I would like to do is I would like to shop Christian Watson. I'm not going to let him go for like cheap. I like him as a player, and I think he has good dynasty value. But it just the Rodgers situation scares me a little bit. I'm not sure how long he'll be there. I think he only has 1 year left on his deal. I think it was a 2-year extension, if I'm correct. I forget. But anyways, also his splits with and without Romeo Dobbs also scare me a bit. So if I could move him for a first next year or even this year or like a veteran running back or receiver, that would be great. I have a lot of running backs on my roster, and only like 4 receivers or 5 receivers on my bench outside of my starting lineup, and we start 3 receivers and 3 flex, one of which being a super flex. But yeah, I'm looking to definitely do more dynasty leagues this season, and I'm really looking forward to this dynasty draft, my first ever dynasty draft with just rookies. So I love dynasty. This is my first year doing it. I'm really looking forward to joining more in this off season and doing some more startup drafts. So I'll definitely be coming out with some more rankings, and my next video will probably be a ranking video of my top dynasty receivers or running backs moving forward, maybe even quarterbacks for super flex. But yeah, drop any comments down in the comment section, any suggestions on videos, let me know. Yeah, that's all I got for you guys today. Peace.